In our last lecture, we have stopped. Uh, we have stopped at the chain of amino acid. We have understand that whenever a chain of amino acids start, it should always start with a start codon and end with a stop codon. However, this from this it seems to be like that every chain of amino acids should have methionine. However, this is true at the initial stage of the protein formation. However, however in the finals however in the final protein structure, this is not always true, as this chain of amino acid will contain the initial some amino acids, and this is not fixed how many amino acids. It can be 5, 10, or depend on the type of protein. And initial few amino acid contains a signal peptide. This will initial few amino acid contains a signal for the proteins, contains a signal which helps the proteins to reach to its final destination stage, and in its final mature form, this signal peptide is this signal amino acids is finally cleaved off from this sequence, and then protein can acquire its mature form that can perform its function for which it is being secreted or produced inside the cell. So this is the thing that I wanted to say to you. And another thing we need to understand that protein structure is divided into 4 types in the literature. That is primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. Primary structure is basically have the structure that is inherent in the sequence of amino acid. That is, it is only considered as the sequence of amino acids. And the secondary structure is a structure that is formed just because of this amino acid exist in the nature. Thus, just because of the amino acid is stable, the sequence of amino acid is stable in the nature, as we have already discussed in the previous videos, that the sequence has its own structure. So that structure, when it is formed, is called the secondary structure. Secondary structure is, and they are mainly divided into 2 kind of forms. One is the alpha helix, and second one is beta sheet. And there is another form is also there, but that is important to do the function most of the time. That is important for the protein to do function most of the time. However, it has not been considered too much while understanding the structure. That is called bands. That will help in connecting alpha helix and beta sheet. And tertiary structure every amino acid has certain site. Tertiary structure is formed because formed based on the interaction of this amino acids based on the interaction of these amino acids. We will discuss this later when we go in detail about how the amino acid interacts with each other. So based on the interaction of amino acid to each other, we call it like site structure. We will discuss it later on, but for the moment you can understand that it is basically due to the interaction of amino acid to each other. Interaction of amino acid. Each other. The last one is quaternary structure. So in this quaternary structure, what happens is that some of the proteins have more than one chain. So when the final structure has more than one chain, and how they are formed in the final structure, that is been taken care of by quaternary structure. So structure, when you can say that final structure of the proteins include that taken into consideration of the number of chains that protein should have in its final form. Interaction of chain of amino acid, if it is present in protein. As most protein, as there are some smaller proteins that exist in nature as a single chain. So for those, the tertiary structure and quaternary structure might be same. So that's all for today. If there is something wrong that I have said in this video, please do let me know. Okay, thank you.